So there's this guy named Jacko on YouTube, um, and he shared like this testimony, this story that happened where he kind of got free food from Chipotle with his wife when they were having hard times. And it reminded me of back in like 2017 when I was like trying to get this job, or already working, I guess, um, at this job, but didn't have a lot of money, at that research company in Champaign, Illinois. So I remember I was like praying, like I needed to eat something. I was just like, I just have to eat something because I just need food. And I went through like this computer lab at my university, and some girl was like wearing a t shirt that said, "Dinner is coming." Well, then I was invited just randomly at this to eat some food at like the theater at the university. So, like I went in and just visited for fun. Like I was just walking in there and I was just like, oh, I'm just checking out what's going on. And they're like, oh yeah, we're having some plays and stuff. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. Wow. And you guys got a lot of food here too. And I was like, who's this for? Like because like in the back of my mind, I'm thinking like, because the way this works is basically when God provides for you, like when he takes care of you, it doesn't mean like you steal anything. It doesn't mean you lie about anything. It doesn't mean you like basically unjustly get something, if that makes sense. It means like maybe somebody gives something to you legitimately, or you find something that you forgot that you had, something like that. So they literally they gave me permission. They're like, yeah, you, like, they knew I wasn't part of this thing, but they were kind of dressed up and they were just happy, I guess. And we're just enjoying that they were having like this night where they were doing these plays. And I didn't know anything about these plays, but they said like, yeah, like we want people to hang out here. Like you can have some of this food. And I had no idea that this was going on. I had no planning of this. It was just literally me walking to just a random location. Like I usually never even would go in there. This is one of the buildings that you would ride your bike past to get to these other classes and stuff. And I just never went in there. It's like just a building that, with some like theaters that I guess they do plays or musical recitals or something, and that's it. So they had like these, I swear it was like fruit dipped in chocolate and stuff, and just like it was some neat food. Like it wasn't just like this, getting some processed food from like McDonald's. So that meant a lot to me, because when you hardly have anything at all and you're just struggling to get by, it's really tough. Because if you think about it, it's not that you're just waiting for like another paycheck. Sometimes for a lot of people, the reason why they're in a hard situation in the first place is because life is already difficult for them. They're already trying to do something that doesn't have a steady paycheck as it is. So it's like kind of hard to even imagine what your next step is going to be. And it's a compounding effect, because socially it affects you, and then you kind of have people who aren't so much of your friend anymore. And then that kind of affects your ability to commune with people. And then that compounds, because then that affects how much money you have, and then that affects, and they all kind of like, these negative things kind of eat on each other. But if you're tough, or you believe that life isn't about being fake, at least, and even if you're not tough, but you just know life is not about being fake, then, you can push through that and you can just basically choose to do the right thing. And just remember that when this happens, God's promises are there. He promises to take care of you, even when it's like, even though with your eyes and your natural mind, you can just look around and be like, how does that make any sense? But the reality is that it does work that way. That's the crazy thing. That's just, it's funny because it actually is, in some sense, categorized as crazy legitimately, because it basically is crazy, because it's what a lot of people would just count as magic or supernatural, or just, they don't understand how that could possibly be true, and they don't realize that a universe that we live in could possibly work that way. They don't actually believe that it's possible that there's a God that's able to basically put these things in front of you. Now, I was taught that, and I was also shown examples of that in stories of my own family. When my own grandfather needed a car part. So just thought I'd share that story. I tried to make it under a minute, and then when I went past a minute, I just like, oh, okay, I'll just explain it, and I won't make it a short. I'll just make it a regular video. But there you go. If you're ever in need, it's like that guy's story, man. It was interesting. It was interesting. And something else happened to me too. And it wasn't like I was in need of food. It was like I was in need of just wanting to spend more quality time with some people that I loved at this camp. And this was back in like 2007. And it was so funny because I had prayed that I could stay a little bit longer. And what's so crazy is that I was able to. Like, I was meant to be picked up by my youth pastor's wife, and she showed up like pretty late for some reason, like hours later than what she was supposed to. And she said, sorry, I got in a bumper accident. It wasn't like a big deal. But she was almost offended because I said it was funny that she didn't she didn't understand this, because when she said that, I just said, oh, I know. She's like, how did you know? Like, who told you? Like, I didn't, did they call you? And I just said, like, I knew I prayed that I could stay longer. And it was a time in my life where it's like, I knew that I could pray about certain things, and it would just literally come true. I literally could pray like that and like have the confidence. Now, most of the time that's not the case for me, but at this time in my life, that was the case. And so that was my genuine response. Like, I was not surprised. I literally expected it. It sounds crazy, but to some people, I guess. I mean, it would sound crazy to me if I didn't believe in God or something. It would sound kind of silly. But some people you can't convince, even if you use statistics. You can't always convince some people, because they're just the way they set themselves in their mind is they'll have to deny valid statistics with the scriptures someday. I'm convinced, to truly keep their beliefs. So it is what it is. But yeah, I figured I'd share that with you guys, and don't know what you think, but that's how it is. I'll see you guys later.